Welcome back to Insight. We're downtown at Barrett McNagny and learning about family law with Emily. And family law encompasses what?
Well, the thing that most people think about when they think of family law is divorces or dissolutions of marriage, but it also encompasses all types of post-dissolution issues, custody issues, child support issues. Some people think of family law as also dealing with guardianships. So it really is the whole gamut of family-related issues.
And maybe with all the legal things that there are, the one that probably, hits people the hardest maybe sometimes
is the dissolution work. And absolutely, the dissolution work is the toughest thing for people to get through, and it's frankly the most talked about of all of the different areas that I do.
How does it start? What are the steps, I guess, involved?
Okay, typically a dissolution starts by somebody filing a petition for dissolution of marriage. And then from there is a 60-day waiting period, cooling off period, if you will. Now, I am cautious in saying that because people then hear 60 days and they think, okay, my divorce is going to be done after 60 days, and that doesn't happen very often. But during that process, during that period of time, that sort of interim period of time after you file but before you're finalized, the parties start working towards, figuring out their custody situations, figuring out the appropriate child support levels if there are children, figuring out what the values of the assets and debts are and how those assets and debts should be distributed. So the process of the dissolution really can take, it can take anywhere from 2 months to a year and a half, just depending on how complicated the particular issues of the case are.
Are there, do the courts typically let people kind of make this up as they go, or is there strict guidelines?
Well, that's a really good question. I guess one thing I neglected to say that I think the viewers would like to hear is that during that period of time, it's not just a free-for-all. It's not just, okay, we're going to let the parties figure it out and sort of wallow in the uncertainty. During that period of time, the parties can ask for what are called provisional orders. Some people think of them as temporary orders. And it's the court's way of saying, okay, how are we going to keep this boat afloat until we get to the end of this process? And so that hearing usually occurs, supposed to occur within 21 days, but oftentimes within a month to 2 months after the initial filing. And the court will issue temporary orders. Who's going to remain in the house? How are the bills going to be paid? Who's going to have temporary custody? And so on and so forth. And then that gives the parties the time that they need to figure out how the rest of the dissolution process should play out.
Child support, is that dependent on, well, I guess how is it determined?
Child support is based upon the income shares model in Indiana. So we look at the incomes of the parties, and then we look at cost for daycare, the cost of health insurance, the number of children involved, and then the amount of overnights that each party spends with the children.
So it's really a formula more than anything that might be negotiable. Is that what I'm hearing?
It is. Now, it is negotiable, but you have to start with that formula. And people argue about child support all the time. But the reality is they're arguing about the numbers that go into the child support equation. They're arguing about what their incomes are. They're arguing about the number of overnights that they're each going to spend with the kids. They're arguing about those types of factors that go into the child support formula.
And we only have about 30 seconds in that time. Can you answer? A lot of people might want to know, at what age is the child's opinion taken into account in all of this?
Great question. 14.
14
is the easy answer. But there are 7 factors that the court looks at to determine custody. The child's wishes is one of the 7 factors. So it is not dispositive, and I think that's important for people to know, because a lot of people think, hey, if a child wants to go at 14, they get to go, and that's not necessarily the case.
So many things that you could use legal advice for in terms of family law, and if you'd like to find out more, Barrett McNagny, terrific website, we'll get you in touch with them. Also, you can give them a call at the number on the screen. We'll be right back on Insight.